then you can just pull out widget.get options, and you notice I didn't say iterator there. In Mura 7, you can actually just, the default return type for the property is an iterator. So if you don't explicitly say iterator, it will return an iterator. Otherwise, you can say get options iterator or get options query. And then that returns an iterator is a simple pattern that basically has an object that's wrapping a collection that knows it has another one. So if it has next, then we're going to loop through, we're going to output options.get that next one, .next.get name. Very simple, very straightforward. And finally, we're just showing some syntax sugar that from server-side HTML, you're able to get a widget feed. The widget feed, you can say where your prop name equals car and get the iterator, and then you can loop through and output your results of that query. What's Mura.js? Well, Mura.js starting out is as a lightweight jQuery-like utility to manage DOM elements. Is it as full-featured as jQuery? No. Is it ever going to be? No. But it does what Mura needs to do. We have a desire for Mura and Mura's core functionality, except for in cases where it's just obvious we're not going to do that for like full calendar. We're not taking that over. But for our lightweight internal framework, for our bare bones like the kernel, what Mura does, we want it to be fairly agnostic of anything, so we can plug and play with things easily. And we don't want to run into situations where there's like a site that has some tool that uses, jQuery 2, we need jQuery 3, and we just don't want to deal with that. So it was actually a really great learning experience to go work with that as well. Just, has simple syntax, very similar to jQuery, many things, just kind of like Mura. But instead of your jQuery, it's Mura. Again, lots of this is outlined, exact features are outlined in the extended slides for Steve's CF Summit presentation. It says, just simply getting my class, click, do something. And what we're awesome example in the very near future here is it's also a lightweight utility to interact with Mura content. So you can, do things like Mura.get. Now this is JavaScript. So Mura.get entity, a widget, we're going to load that entity by the property name, and who has a value of car. We're going to get that widget back, and we're going to put the name into a div. It's JavaScript, it's not server-side, so the structure is different. There's chain really is dependent on chaining, because when you're in the client doing JavaScript, it's really got to tie a string to your finger. It's all asynchronous. It's all asynchronous. One thing happens, and then you can't do your next thing until you've gotten a response. And by having a lightweight utility to manage Mura entities with Mura.js, certainly you can kind of start ignoring the actual endpoint and just program to the syntax of the utility. So being fluent in actually querying against the JSON API is actually directly is easy and very helpful, but it's also nice just to kind of forget about it and then just and use the entities to manage and save content. It's like writing your own JavaScript or code in general to get all the properties that would be required for a certain entity, and then under the hood, going back to our security framework, there's a cross-site forgery request prevention framework. You have to actually access request tokens, get those tokens back, then package those tokens with the final request to your save. Then it's going to save it, or it's going to insert it or update it, depending if your tokens were validated within the time frames that were valid. And you can do it, but it's easier to use this. So now, I'm going to this in the form of a display object. And if you make, a display object, let's see if I can make these bigger. Maybe I can. Maybe I'm not sure about this. side. But in the split, sorry that's so small. But in your display object, you create a model directory. And in that model directory, your beans directory, you put all your Mura ORM beans in there, and they will automatically be wired into Mura ORM, and they will automatically be registered in the at the endpoint of Mura JSON API, and you will be able to immediately have access to them. And this is a widget, so we have our widget endpoint. You can go into that, and you can see that we have reading error. What did I do? Okay. Do this. Come on, give me my toolbar. There you go. What the heck happened? I was demoing this all day of my little thing, so I obviously did something. The case is sensitive, insensitive, or by. Oh, that's embarrassing. Why would that order by suddenly be case sensitive? Well, that is disappointing. One second here. One thing I will do it. I'm going to go here. All right, so it's another proof we should use Mura ORM, Mura.js, because they're creating this, something to do with the feed, but there's a case-sensitive error happening there, and I cleared all my data, and for my testing, never actually went to the JSON API. I was using the code here, and saw that sorry, people. I totally messed that up.
It's all right, Matt. We forgive you.
Yeah. I have a feeling. So, for some reason, it works when I keep opening Firefox, and I don't know if you guys know this, but every time I open Firefox, it's a mistake. So it works here, so you go populate, and I'll have this available, and it brings up my tables, and it populates them. I have no idea what that representation guy is causing error right there. So now I'm I made a configurator that simply has a list of actions that we want to make available. And I have populate clear, list widgets, list options, find widget, find widget with dog option, and I have this is a renders in the client only, so it just says render client, and now we have I have a event handler that's registering and putting my display object code onto the rendering onto the DOM, so that's available, JavaScript's available there, and which allows me to have this Mura.js as a Mura.UI class that you can extend, and when you extend that class, it becomes available to be a front-end display object for client-side rendering with one main method called render, and that's where I take it. It has anything that they configured param becomes available as a context of the display object rendering. So I have the action, which is coming straight from the configurator. I have a name action in there. So when they runs the action, I have a little switch case statement that says, what am I going to do? So I have a populate method, and that's what I did to populate that table. Again, I will come here and we'll clear that. And then I'll come back. This is already cleared out my data. And then when I say I want to populate it, I select populate. It said done importing, and now I have my data. With my options. So that code is, this will be all released on GitHub as well. And sorry, I'm a little flustered by what the heck's going on. How is all this other stuff working? Is this not working? Oh, I think, anyway. Yay. So I think anyway. So it didn't happen. So you can see with the JSON API, it's actually very, very useful to do it directly. Mainly when it comes to persistence. When it comes to querying, you can filter down what you want. You can order things. You can every single Mura entity represented in Mura ORM will have a series of links to provide you transitions. In Mura ORM, how we had those, we had the option had, the widget had options, and the option had a widget. So you can see that here that we have on this widget, we have a list to get to access to its options. And in every single option, you can give you a way to access back, transition back to the options widget. So that's the JSON API and what that's offering. So here, I created, you can populate a list of widgets, and what this is doing is simply going through the widgets and then for each one, pulling the options and listing those options. And as opposed to listing each option individually and then pulling the widgets, because what happens is, under the hood, when we have that JSON API providing that links, provides all relationships, information it needs to transition from one state to another state. Like I'm on a widget, I'm going to go to the options. Here, so see this is every single Mura entities. You have the ability to, I'm just giving in Mura.js, getting that feed. On Mura.js, they give me a feed of a widget. I'm getting a query, so I'm just going to get them all the default sort. And then, because it's asynchronous, you wait until you get your response. A thing called the JavaScript promise. Basically, it's not happening right now. It's going to happen eventually. But when it's done, I'll do this method for you. And then it has a widget, which is an instance of a Mura.entity collection object that basically allows you to loop through the widgets, and on each one, we're going to call this method in the normal JavaScript each loop. And we're going to output the name, and we're going to create a URL and with the widget ID. And then this is a kind of a cool thing, is that now we have the widget, right? And widget has options. So you can just say widget.get and options. And under the hood it says, oh, you have a link to something called options. So what we're going to do is return a JavaScript promise. And you can give me a method to fire when I can go to the server or go to the API endpoint, make that request, get the data back, and now you have the data from that transition from your widget to your options. And now you have the options for that widget. So what do you want to do then? So then at that point, we can loop through those options, and each time we're gonna append it a list item to the our listing right there. So, and this is just an example with listing options. So we list the options, first we get an options feed, we get that query, get that result set back, and then we can loop through those options, and in the same manner can I show that in the JSON API endpoint how they had the options has a link back to the widget, and the widget has a link to the options. You're able to say option.get widget, and it just goes and gets the widget and transitions back, and then returns the widget entity where you can say get name. And in here we have our find widget with dog. You have your found a dog, and then in transit shows you what's that. Because I'm trying to find an option of a dog. So what is the option of a dog, and then it transitions back to the pet. So that is really just showing. Is just showing that the feed. If you look up here, for those who saw Nolan's presentation on the feed, server-side feeds, or even when I showed this earlier, is that the syntax is the same. So the idea is that when you're server-side writing server-side code for the feed API from Mura, it's basically the same code with a couple little asterisks that you write on JavaScript. So you become familiar with it, and you can use it on both client and server. The main difference is it doesn't return an iterator for a query. The iterator is going to be a server-side object iterator or a CML query object. It simply returns a collection object from Mura.entity collection that allows you to interact with Mura entities inside of it. And it has more JavaScript-y methods available to it, like each, filter, map, reduce, sort. So that's about it. Sorry for the weirdness. I think I broke it and fixed it.